government objectives? Wouldn't it become more outcome-oriented rather than just how much money we're throwing at it or how much we're funding? And the governor vetoes it. 2 months later, he issues an executive order that looks a lot like performance-based budgeting. Now, the difference is, he can go out and say, we've implemented these things, or I have implemented these things because of the governor's executive order. But he can also change it the very next day if he wants to. He has a lot of flexibility. It's just like at the city council, if you do something, majority vote, you can take it out by majority vote. Up here in Sacramento, in Sacramento, if you put something in place by majority vote, you take it out. Executive order, you take it out by executive order. Initiative can only be changed by initiative. It's whatever level that you implement is how you take it out. So a little bit disingenuous. So he will tell you now that he has performance-based budgeting. He's asking his guys to do that, but he can also change it. And there wasn't really a whole lot of teeth in what he was asking them to do. But we don't really have expectations of what DMV is supposed to do to be successful. And so that's why we're usually pretty frustrated when we're standing in line. It seems like these guys are taking coffee breaks every 20 minutes or something. It's just, we don't know how to gauge what that is. And an old saying, if you aim at nothing, you're sure to hit your target. Sacramento definitely aims at nothing. So what that's left us with is this chronic budget problem. And even though we know intuitively, we look at other states that are actually paring back the scope of government, and in so doing they're becoming more efficient. Texas used to be a Democrat-controlled state, now Republican-controlled state for some time. They've been the #1 job creator in the middle of a recession. And my Democrat colleagues in Sacramento hate us to bring up Texas as an example. I don't know why it just stirs a visceral response, but it does. Don't bring up Texas. Those are low-paying jobs. Well, you know what? Low-paying jobs are a heck of a lot better than no-paying jobs. And that's the alternative. But they don't get that. And by the way, they lard us up with so much interior costs so that if you look at the cost of electricity, we have someone from Edison here today? Yes. Hey, there you go. Cost of electricity, you have that tiered thing, so the more you use, the more you pay. Well, that helps the poor people. Same thing with water, you got a tiered rate. Same thing in education. The people that are out there complaining about the high cost of education, I can bet you most of them probably weren't paying anything. Because half of our guys at the colleges are federal grants, state grants, or even university grants. The university grants work like this. Those of us that have kids in school, we make too much money to qualify for those grants. We pay our fee. 1/3 of every dollar that we send goes into university grants. So that means we're getting taxed, then we pay our tuition, and we're paying for somebody else that hasn't saved or can't afford it. And they're already qualifying for their federal, the state, now they're getting university grants. And so the net effect is you have half of them not paying tuition. The ones that are paying are having to pay for the other people as well. And so it's those that are sort of caught in the middle. They're not wealthy enough to be able to afford it without blinking. They're not poor enough to get the free stuff, so they're shouldering this heavier burden. So you look at just about anything that we do here, you have these regulations, these things that make it a lot easier for the poor, which is not bad, but, thank you, Jody. But it just continues to shift the burden to those that do have the wealth. So now you see these taxes that are to help balance the budget this year, going after the top income earners, they call them the millionaire's tax, that's Molly Munger's. As I'm fond of saying, there's nothing more portable than a millionaire and his money. You're motivating these guys, and they have multiple houses anyway, just to make the one in Las Vegas their legal home, or the guy, Tiger Woods, grew up in Southern California, played on our golf courses, now an official resident of Florida. Why? It's not because he loves flat land, it's because there's no income tax down there. So it's a business decision.